All right. Gonna have 0 people in here currently, I believe. Couple people in here. Let's see what we got. Hey Claudio, that was probably the third time I ever shut off a game before. I shut it off like a minute or two before. I accepted it the second. I mean, you guys saw or watched the podcast. Welcome on in if you just got here. But I said it yesterday on the podcast. Like it's just, I had no faith in this team. Santangelo had a little bit more. I had none. After that first performance, when you come in as lifeless as Milan did in that one in Roma, Roma again, clearly over the course of the 180 minutes in this tie, Roma wanted it more. They played better and they had a better plan. I mean, just straight up, there was no plan from Milan. Stefano Pioli's selection with this 11 today prior to the match starting was absolutely inexcusable. Um, to just not even put your best offensive players forward in a match like this where you know you need goals, you know you need to be on the offensive end of things. Milan, too little, too late. I mean, just the incapability of scoring more than one goal when you're up a man for nearly what it was like 60 something minutes around that to not even be able to basically conjure up legitimate chances where Roma had a chance with Spinazzola when they're up 2-0 right on the counterattack. It gets saved by Magnan, and there was a couple other instances. Almost every single situation and scenario for Roma over the 180 minutes, they still look better. Cristante yellow card subbed off. Lukaku got subbed off. I mean, Dybala obviously never 100%. So just kind of sit here and say that, you know, Milan had any like foot in this race over this tie would be a lie because Roma were just clearly better at every single turning point, and that goal by Matteo Gabbia was simply a consolation goal, nothing else. Everything about this was all Roma being the better side, and enough evidence that Stefano Pioli is no longer capable of being the manager of Milan. And on top of that, what happens when you actually hire someone to try and get a new voice in. That's the difference. The way De Rossi had these guys playing ever since he took over is a big reason as to why they turned around. Just like Pioli came in when Giampaolo was terrible, even when Gattuso came in for Vincenzo Montella. That sacking into the hire of a new voice for a team that needs just a bit of a shakeup tactically, mentally. I mean, just so many different reasons as to why they did a better job. For me, this is kind of sad for Pioli, and we'll get into it real quick. Just want to fire off a tweet. And only Inter to play this coming Monday. So really going to be fun. Really going to be a good time with that one. That's going to go well. And still, guys, Stefano Pioli's. Sorry, not Pioli. Antonio Conte is not coming. If whoever just wants to say that. No, I mean, listen, it was all Roma. Roma played better than Milan by far. Hey, Vincent, congratulations if you're a Roma fan. Congrats to you guys. Um, I think there's two truths to this. I think Milan were terrible over two legs, and Roma were still good. I think it was just truly, truly awful and abysmal by Milan too. Like I think it goes both ways, and it's not for me to take away credit from Roma because I'm not here to do that, and there's no way you can after that. But just I think this is also on top of like Milan just being dreadful. It's just woeful. Just a lack of preparation, a lack of proper selection, just just really disgusting. And I think this is one of the more low moments in the Stefano Pioli era. I think top three low moments in Pioli's era was 5-0 against Atalanta. It was the derby. How geez, there's top five moments. There's top five bad moments. So I would say Atalanta 5-0. I would say that um, losing the Scudetto to Inter with the Conte team and that derby was pretty shitty. I would say that losing to Inter, obviously in the Champions League semifinals just last year, just really poor. And then not even to mention, um, obviously all the derbies that have ensued recently, the 5-1 derby and all this other stuff. It's just really really bad. Um, And this loss doesn't phase me on like a just like a fandom perspective. I am so used to losing with my American teams, guys, that this doesn't really phase me. I don't really get the anger that like some people choose to have. And you can get angry, and there's nothing wrong with getting angry, and it's a plausible feeling, and you should feel how the way you want to feel. But just to simply like think that um, you know you have to just accept this kind of performance. Like this is a performance, unfortunately, for Stefano Pioli, who's such a great guy and has brought so much joy to Milanisti in a shorter time frame. But to just go out like this is kind of sad. It's disappointing because there's a distaste in your mouth when you see somebody go out like this because it's unquestionable that it needs to happen. There's no denying that he needs to leave, start somewhere else new. It'll be best for him. But the real question and issue arises for Milan right now, and that is who takes over for Pioli, and who knows. And yeah, Franco, the season is over. And I see all your messages, guys. It's going to be too hard. So you guys try and interact with one another. I'm not going to be constantly pulling them up, but what I could read, I will try and uh, rediscuss. I will try and get a clip out of this as well. So bear with me, and I'll just like talk about the Pioli era in a minute. Like up the video, subscribe if you have not already. In this loss, at least give me something to be happy about because we just love all the support that Matt and I have been receiving. So it's greatly appreciated. Um, and thank you to everybody who is so kind after, like a bunch of people were just being absolute animals on the internet. So I appreciate all the sentiments from people. So yeah, let me see what's going on here. Dude, Twitter is like so many people angry, man. It's pretty weird. All right, here we go. Oops. Excuse me. Three, two, one. Okay, here we go. All right, the Stefano Pioli era is over. Like it's done. After this loss and the 180 minutes played in this tie with Roma, it was pretty evident that Milan and Pioli didn't really have much of a plan whatsoever. They didn't really have the heart and the hunger to play in the one competition that they were still remaining in. The fact that they still weren't able to just put an ounce of energy into this and actually play with the redness and fear that the colors invoke in opponents and why Herbert Gilpin founded the club to begin with is devastating. And the fact is this: Milan go out sadly in yet another competition, and it marks the end of the Stefano Pioli era. Whoever you want as manager, let me know in the comments. Because quite frankly, and that's the clip, by the way. So if you see anything on social media, that's how I do them half the time. But and that's improvised mostly, just for anyone watching. Um, the thing is, I think in terms of moving to managers, I think the obvious move and the move that would benefit Milan most greatly, irrelevant of management and getting along and ambition, would be Antonio Conte. The fact of the matter is this: Redbird's ambitions and line in the year of where their project is does not align with Antonio Conte. It does not align with a salary for a manager. It does not align with spending a lot of money in the transfer market unless you raise significant funds somehow. From Milan, ultimately, what it comes down to is this: who is willing to take on this job that's relatively cheap, is able to develop players, and compete for a title? And the options are thin. Liverpool's job is going to be open. Barcelona's job is going to be open. It looks like Bayern are going to be hiring Julian Nagelsmann. The Napoli job, it's not more attractive, but I think they're going to be more ambitious with it. I think they're eventually going to hire Vincenzo Italiano. The Juve job is going to be open. It looks like from all reports that Thiago Motta is going to be headed over there. So you have all of these things now where Milan's options are limited. Maurizio Sarri for Milan? No, I don't see how Milan even attempt to win anything with Sarri. Like, the guy has issues with rotations. Um, yeah. How do you think Pioli's reign will be viewed in 5 years? This is a good question by Chino Papi. And thanks for the comment, and thanks for everyone commenting at the moment in time, because I see all Thiago Motta, and shout out to Sabrina and other people that are in here. Okay, so how do we think the reign will be viewed in 5 years? In 5 years, when people are able to digest their feelings about everything regarding Stefano Pioli and how they look back on this era, I think a lot of people will have their memory jogged on how difficult it was to be a Milan fan from the years 2012 up until 2020, right? Nearly a decade long of suffering and embarrassment and missing out on Europe, financial disappointments, players that are signing, holding up, wearing scarves that never eventually signed for the team, players that ended up being flops, selling players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Thiago Silva. These were the lowest moments in the recent club's history since they got relegated back in 82, 83 for the Totonero, scandal. So to have that era be basically undone when Maldini and Massara came in and Elliott came into the fold as well, and Stefano Pioli came in when Giampaolo had them in one of their lowest moments, right? Because again, it was another summer of high spending for Milan and Milan looking absolutely terrible. He didn't even survive through Halloween. Giampaolo was that bad. But when Stefano Pioli came in and Zlatan eventually arrived a few months after, that's when everything changed. And a lot of people felt like Milan had their identity back to a team that was at least competing for a title and getting somewhat close. And having that Scudetto win in the 2021-2022 season was reminiscent of the best of times in recent years. There hasn't been a lot of success and a lot to boast about. When you look back on the Pioli era, that is by far one of the greatest and most emotional achievements that a person has had while working at Milan, right? I mean, the standards dropped off significantly, but to find out a way to win that league title was everything. It made people believe that the direction would be changing for the better, and unfortunately, it hasn't so far. There's been highs and lows ever since, mostly lows. The point is that the club got their swagger back. They realized that they could be able to win some of these trophies. It's just the ambition and the types of people need to align with that. It just hasn't been the case. As for this coming summer, Jerry Cardinale and the rest of management with Ferlani, Di Ottavio, Zlatan, and Moncada are going to have to prove that they have Milan's best interests in heart, because they're going to look at this like, okay, we made it to quarterfinals of Europa League. It's a failure. You go to Europa League when in the Champions League, it's a failure. Get knocked out early in Coppa Italia, absolute failure. Inter win by double-digit points, getting to the second star before Milan, absolute failure. Distaste in your mouth. After you sack Paolo Maldini and Ricky Massara left on his own accord, but that's separate. And then on top of it, you basically are looking at Sandro Tonali, who is this key figurehead for the next 10 years or so, gets sold. And that was, a lot of people didn't like that one and end up working out for Milan because of his suspensions and everything to do with illegal sports gambling. The fact is this: Milan were not good enough today. They haven't been good enough. And Pioli changed a lot of things for the better and made Milan a somewhat serious team again. But like all things in life, they eventually run its course and it's time for things to end. And I love Pioli as a man. I think he's a good person. You could see by the way he has his relationships with people. He's never come out as bitter or a person that is really just kind of, you know, scoffed at the idea of Milan fans, so like talking badly about him. Like Pioli never won anything in his career as a manager prior to arriving at Milan. So it's a special place in his heart. He got the tattoo of the 19 Scudetto on his forearm. There's so much to love and adore of the guy, but at a certain point, and I gotten tired of this. I got tired of it last year. I understood why it happened and why he stayed. Um, he ran his course a while ago, and to be quite honest with you, this is a team with the way they operate was not going to pull the trigger faster because they're not willing to pay the manager or a manager a significant sum of money to fix them. Now, I think the majority of us would agree that's not how you run a club like AC Milan. And if you watch the interview Jerry Cardinal gave with Bloomberg and Alex Rodriguez, right, who's a legendary baseball player, played for the New York Yankees, right? So, like, the New York Yankees are the gold of gold standards in American sports. And they embody winning, they embody class, very, very similar and a lot of parallels to Milan, if you don't know. So, with that, he has that sort of experience working with a George Steinbrenner, who is someone that is a very similar figure in terms of Silvio Berlusconi when it comes to being polarizing and being a dominant figure in sports and winning a lot. So with that, you wonder how much is he actually going to take away from that type of style and winning and apply it to Milan? Because I'll be honest with you, as someone who knows baseball very, very, very well and the history of it, George Steinbrenner would have sacked Stefano Pioli yesteryear. It wouldn't even have been a discussion. If George Steinbrenner owned AC Milan after what he saw last season, Stefano Pioli doesn't survive. Stefano Pioli would have been sacked. So the question is, what does Jerry Cardinal do after substantiated failures in the first 2 years of his reign as owner of the club, where you finish fifth, lucky to get a spot into the Champions League, likely to finish second in Serie A, but yet again trophyless after not rash decisions, but decisions that caused a lot of issues for a lot of people, and people did disagree with it. I disagree with the Maldini sacking. I understand where it came from. I understood what people's point of views were regarding it. But the fact is this: they're not good enough right now, and they needed to do business differently, but the club needs ambition more than anything. They have sustainability. They have that. The brand is big. They're turning a profit. You need to take gambles and risk. And I know there's FFP, and we're going to be talking about things with Isaac Muller of SemperMilan.com. We're going to be talking with Ali Fisher, the same things. All of that will come into a discussion of, are you going to pony up and are you going to realize what this team needs? Because if it comes with, and Furlani's already kind of like, looked at it like this isn't going to be the same sort of market where we're going to have so many turnovers in many different positions where it was like, 8 to 10 different signings. There's going to be some big signings. But how aggressive are Milan in these signings? Are Milan going to make an attempt for Joshua Zirkzee, but then fall back on their lines and sign a Jonathan David, who is more underwhelming? What do they do at the center back position? I know Lacroix is a player from Wolfsburg, I believe, that a ton of people love. What do they do with that? What do they do with the number 6 position? Do they finally have something that they say to themselves? Davide Calabria is not a consistent starter at Milan, nor should be the captain leading them week in, week out. What moves is Jerry Cardinal and this management going to make that change the entire perception of this fan base right now? Because one, they're at odds with you. They don't trust you. They think that your ambition is lacking. And I don't blame them for thinking that. And I also don't blame Jerry for approaching the way and trying to build up the club the way they're trying to do it, which is invest smartly, grow players, grow a foundation, and end up winning. But a club like Milan, who already had that foundation, not financially, but on the pitch somewhat, didn't get that. And for me, when you keep the same manager, you don't make the wholesale changes at the very key positions that you need, even though there were so many positions to change, right? There are so many different things that Jerry is going to have to fix over these next couple of years because I think there's going to be a lot of disappointment from certain fans about this. And no to Xavi. No Xavi Hernandez. No. No thanks. I have no interest. Little to no interest. Little to no interest about this. So, like Xavi needed so much and so many things to go his way. Um, it's just silly to me like that. Um, so yeah, Conte's not coming. Yeah, right. Inter on Monday. Listen, oof. Motta. I don't think Thiago Motta's coming to Milan. I think he's going to Juventus. I think he's going to Juventus. Uh, so yeah, I don't think Motta's coming here. I think Juve moving in with a new market, new management. They're gonna hire Motta. Flamboy. So like you asked the question of like what coaches Milan should go for. What I want and who I want is not feasible. It's not going to happen. Like like I want Julian Nagelsmann. I'd rather have Nagelsmann over any of these choices. I think he's the best manager out there, but he's probably going to Bayern. Um, I don't want Xavi Hernandez. I would have Sarri near the top of my list. I would have Antonio Conte near the top of my list. I would probably have Conte second, but Conte is an unrealistic thing. Roberto De Zerbi is also an unrealistic thing. So you kind of look around and say to yourself, who do you hire? And what is realistic? What is realistic is not anything that Milanisti like. And that's the sad reality of the situation. You're not going to get who you like. That person is going to be walking through that door that you prefer as a manager. It's just straight up not going to happen. Um, and Milan needs to nail that because if they fail with that, then it's a bigger rabbit hole you go down of disappointment. And Thomas Tuchel, no thanks. You could stay over there. Do not want that. Do not want anything to do with that. So for me, pretty silly. Um, it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be difficult. Very difficult position for Tuchel. Tuchel is just a disaster. I don't think they make a decision of hiring Conte. There's just no way. Like the amount of money he wants is more than any player more than the best player on the team. Do you understand this? Okay? We really say Antonio Conte, do you know what you were asking for? It's silly. Uh so yeah. So kudos to Roma again. Have to say they deserve all the credit in the world for this tie. If you're just joining us, Pirlo's horrendous. No, no way. He's struggling in Serie B with Sampdoria. No thanks. No thanks. Just no way. Just no way. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but no way. Unai Emery, not something. There's a firefly in my microphone. Are you just fucking with me, Menace? I didn't even see anything. Or I don't get the joke. Whatever. I'm old, Menace. I'm not very young anymore. I don't get what you're discussing. Aziz. Why do we keep Calabria, bro? I don't know. Hey, dude, bro. I have no idea. I do have to FaceTime. No, no. Hopefully, my no-no's doing well. He's probably exhilarated. I haven't been able to talk to him. Uh, So I don't really see that. Come on, George. This ain't FIFA, brother. This ain't FIFA. This is not FIFA, my friend. And by the way, just so we know, just a shout out to Wayne Gerard. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Wayne on the channel. Um, he's pretty busy. I don't want to. He's got some personal stuff going on. He is okay. He is fine. Great guy. Um, definitely check his channel out tonight. Wayne in Rome. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. What, right, Wayne? Uh, okay, so Wayne is live. So Wayne is live for that. Let's see what happens. Wally Backman. Oh god. Shout out Michael. Where are you? I'm Michael. I'm gonna guess with that comment. I'm 80% certain you live on Long Island. And I say that in the nicest way possible, Michael. Unless it's Mike, unless it's Yankees fan Mike. Which also I think you are Long Island, so either way, the point stands, right? We'll see. Motta's not official with Juventus, but it's looking highly likely. Very poor tactical decisions. We should have played the same as Ancelotti. It's Yankees, Mike. I thought it was after I realized that. I was like, there's actually like a handful of people that will make a baseball reference for me. Yeah, Wally Backman's basically like Gattuso, you know? He's an absolute psychopath. At least you have the Yankees, Mike. Come on, Malpensa. How many times we have to go with this? He's not coming. Menes, stop that nonsense. Hear me out, lad. Xavi. Jeez, guys, keep on repeating the same 2-3 managers. Is everybody just hopping in late or missing the comments? Hey, Ahmad. Yeah, unfortunately. Breland McEwen. No, I don't think they're going to give Abate a shot. Deserbi, same defensive issues. I don't think it would work. Girona's coach is probably the most. Martino, I want to see you get all Italian on this. Get pissed. I mean, that just sounds like wildly stereotypical. I don't even. That's just a wild comment. Were you expecting me to act like the Godfather or something? What are we talking about here? Celtics Knicks Eastern Conference Finals. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be the Celtics to win. No Randall. We'll see. Who knows with those guys? Don't trust them. I'm Greek. Oh, okay. Our good friend Demo is Greek. I don't know if Demo's in here. He was just DMing me on Twitter. But yeah, I'm gonna go drop in a link for Wayne's channel. Old Ard Rossonero as well as live. So if you guys want to see him. Okay, yeah, that's my point, Malpensa. It's a like for like trade. It's it's the same crap. Oh, Wayne only had a video for 20 minutes. So go and check out Wayne's video here. It's just to be nice and classy. See you, Menace. Take care. Just to be classy, guys. You know, this is the way you handle things as a Milan fan, and in general, no ill will, no bad comments. Be very nice to Wayne. Just say, hey, respect. You could say I sent you guys. So yeah, not a problem. But you go ahead and enjoy that video. Yeah, you're probably not gonna enjoy it, but Wayne only streamed for like 20 minutes. I gotta ask him why. I don't know if he ended it for whatever reason, but he he finished Bear Halter for the banter. Edgar, I'd rather do a backflip off the Golden State Bridge. Yeah. So definitely go check out that link and go to Wayne's channel for it. There isn't really too much to discuss at this point. I'm probably gonna go call my no, see how he's doing, and figure it out. But my goodness, what a silly thing to kind of do. But in some positive news, if we wanna spin it to positive news, everybody, we will say this. Italy and Serie A has 5 Champions League spots for next season. So credit to Atalanta for eliminating a really good Liverpool team, and kudos to Roma for advancing to the semifinals, and congratulations to Fiorentina as well for advancing in the Europa Conference League. So kudos on all fronts to those teams that helped the UEFA coefficient. I hope you all lose next round, because there is nothing to benefit Milan in that point in time. So good for Serie A. Hopefully they could build off of it. The Roma are going to have a really difficult matchup against Bayer Leverkusen in the next round. Leverkusen are incredible, still have yet to lose a game. It's been 44 matches unbeaten. And then again for Atalanta, hey, anything can happen. I believe they're going to be, did Benfica pull it out? Oh my God, they're in extra time? Holy crap. Adrian must be on edge here. So Marseille went ahead. They're up 1-0. My goodness. So that's a big thing for Milan now at this point. Not for Milan, jeez. In general, we'll see who Atalanta face. Is it going to be Benfica or Marseille? So yeah, that's going to be fascinating. Marco Rose, I don't know. He wasn't that great with Dortmund. He's been with Leipzig. Leipzig is a good team. I think that's more about how the club is ran than the managers. What a disappointing situation, scenario, and existence as a Milan fan. Just not great. Not great. Kind of happens. So kudos to Roma. With that. People are just shitty. No, Pioli's not staying. What are you talking about, bro? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Come on, he ain't staying. He gone. He's gone. Again, we had mostly close to like 100 of you guys here. It's pretty much time to wrap it up. Did around 30 minutes plus. Going to have a clip out that I grabbed from here, and we'll go from there. I appreciate every single one of you. We will try and figure out an episode recording. It might have to be after the Derby or maybe something tomorrow with Sant'Angelo. But yeah, we greatly appreciate every single one of you that have been supporting the stream and the channel. So again, That Milan Podcast everywhere, at That Milan Pod. You could get the audio and video version there on Apple and Spotify. And if you just want to stay here on YouTube, feel free to do so. But once again, Milan eliminated against Roma in dominant fashion for them. So kudos to them, and take care, everybody.